Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? Well, afternoon, actually. I'm hanging in there, getting ready to cook me some meatball. But first, you want some cherries? These cherries are pretty good, but they're not. I've had better. I've actually had better. So, yeah, they're all right. They're edible. Let's put it like that. I've been wanting some for a while, so finally I got some yesterday. But I don't like them cold. So I took them out the refrigerator. So I'm sitting here waiting for them to become room temperature, a little bit not too cold. Yeah, I don't really like any cold fruit or anything like that. Ah, oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm telling you, these bones are creaking. And I did my exercise this morning. I really did. I just got through. Matter of fact, maybe a half an hour or so ago. I did my exercise and I'm still creaking. So I'm gonna do another set when I get off here. But I'm still having a problem with this leg, but I ain't gonna let that stop me from doing what I do best. And that's what I do. I try to keep up with my exercise. The stretch and this and all that. And try to get the kinks out of here. So that's what I'm up to this afternoon. Y'all still enjoying your long weekend, I'm assuming? Well, I'll tell you, somebody turned the heat up. I don't know. It's 87 degrees. I think summer has arrived. Trust me. I do believe it has arrived. The temperature up here is 87 degrees, which inside of my house is good. Right now, I don't have the air on. I had my little heater on for a minute. You remember Orenga? I had Orenga going. And I had her on for a minute. But actually, she felt cool to me, cool. And so I said, well, let me turn it off. And while I talk to the AAG team, how y'all doing? I hope all is well. I hope you enjoyed your spectacular weekend. Did you go to an amusement park or something like that? Take the kids and go up on those big rides and holler and scream. Have you been on those yet? I often wonder, why do we do that? I don't know why we do it. It's a scare tactic. What, do we like being scared? Do we like feeling like we're just going to drop down to the bottom and crash or something? I don't know what we're thinking when we ride roller coasters. Now, I've only been on a roller coaster, I think, uh, 2 times. Yeah. Because up here, right up there in West Haven, they used to have what they call Seven Rock. And they had the biggest ride out there was called the Sky Blazer. It had its own track and its own area. And back in that day, the big rides were made of wood. Well, I guess they still had the train track on it or whatever, that sort of thing. And you creep up, to the top. Oh my goodness. I prayed, I said, Lord, please let me get out of this one. Well, yeah, I was a teenager at that time, because Seven Rock's been gone for a long time. And then after Seven Rock, we sort of start going to Riverside. But, that Sky Blazer, I went on a Sky Blazer with a guy that I did not know. And so it was me and my friend, a girlfriend of mine. She loved the Sky Blazer. She used to go on it all the time. I don't know what was wrong with her, I don't know. But we went on a Sky Blazer, and this guy, I rode with him. I just met him at the fair, well, at the amusement park. I didn't really know him, but I grabbed that joker by his neck. I had him, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I'll never forget it. I must have been about 15 or 16 years old, but I never forgot that Sky Blazer ride. And another Sky Blazer that I went on was called the Thunderbolt. I don't know if they still have that at Riverside. Riverside now is called Six Flags. I do believe that's in Massachusetts, which is only like a mile and a half or hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to talk about a mile and a half, an hour and 20 minutes from where I live. And so we used to go up there. And Thunderbolt, I don't know if I told this story before or not. That was a long way. I don't know if y'all remember. Let me take this gum out. I don't know if y'all remember when the first Loop coaster came out. Well, up there in Riverside, you had to climb you had to walk up. You had to walk way up these stairs or whatever they're called. Now, I didn't know my kids were on this darn Loop coaster. And they, because they was of age. They was like maybe 10, 11 or something like that. I don't know. And after the fact, which I'm glad I didn't know they were on it, because I probably would have passed out and had a heart attack or something, just to see my children going up there and looping around. And it was a type of roller coaster. Like I said, you had to climb, you had to walk up there and stand in line, to wait your turn. And it wasn't a long ride at all. And I can't remember if it was one loop or two. It might have been two loops. And then once they got up there to the platform, that's where they would do their loading. And then they would go up there and they go, and then all of a sudden they go around and loop, come back, go down there a little bit, and then turn back, come back, and loop again on the way back. And that was the end of the ride. But now these rides out here now, I mean, these are pure terror rides. I'm telling you, I just look at those rides. As a matter of fact, I was looking at one the other day. I don't know if it was called the Superman or what's that big Colossus? The biggest, I can't think of the name of it now. I think it was Superman. But I was watching, how you watch the roller coasters online if you want to. You could look them up and watch them and go for a ride on there. It feels like you're going right along with them, because I can feel my stomach when I'm looking directly at it, like I'm going down the hill with them. But I said, Lord, never again. But let's get back to when I went on the Thunderbolt. Now, I had my daughter with me, my baby daughter. She was only about 3 years old. And she was allowed to go up there with me on this Thunderbolt, which is a big ride, one of those, what do they call it? Sky ride, the roller coasters. And they allowed me to take, I didn't know any better, because I ain't that old myself, I'm only about 20-some years old. So I'm just testing it just for something for me to do. And I declare, I believe that if I hadn't held on to her, I had my arms around her, thank God, because I believe she would have fallen out. I think there were rules that they had that you had to be a certain height to go on there. But I don't know if this guy felt that just because she was with me, it was okay. I was terrified, but I didn't forget my baby. I had her. I said, oh God, she's gonna fall out of here. And that was the worst ride of my life. And when I came back into the station, I said, Lord, thank you for letting me get my feet on the ground. I'll never go on another roller coaster again. And true to my word, I have not been on a roller coaster again. Now, my daughter wasn't scared. She's like 3 years old. She wasn't scared. But then when I put her on the little kiddie ride, she had to go by herself. A little roller coaster going like this, a little roller coaster. You know how the little kids, the little hills ain't that far up, Oh, she cried and she cried. Now, she done roll on the Thunderbolt, but I guess she was with her mother. So she felt safe. But she had to go on that little ride by herself. But anyway, after that, y'all, I said no more roller coasters for me. And I have not been on one since. That's the honest to goodness truth. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But y'all enjoy yourself. Go up there on a roller coaster. Do what you do best. But I'll tell you, them tracks, they got this twirl around and look like they spin around, and they're doing a whole lot. They're doing the most with the roller coasters today. I don't know who the engineer, what do you call them that make those things? They got a, is that the wind? I do believe it is. Let me see what's going on out here, y'all. I'm just going to peek at the back door because I ain't got my head wrapped up or nothing. So I'm just going to look out here and see if that's the wind. It sure is. Look at that. It's just a windy, but the sky is just as bright. And I'm going to get ready to get off the video, y'all, because I'm making meatballs today. She making meatballs today. She finally making meatballs today. She making meatballs today. Meatballs today. She making meatballs today. And on that note, I go with love, and I'll see you again soon.